Greetings, Pokefans! Zack Attack here, and we're back with another Draft League season. I know, 3 at once, it's crazy. I know, it's insane. But, here we are. Here we freaking fracking are. And I cannot wait to get into this battle. Into these battles. And, win. And maybe get to postseason. I don't know, we'll see. But first, we gotta talk about the team. And the draft was insane. I got sniped a few times. Like, Tinglu got taken, Tinkaton got taken before me. Cyclozar got taken. I wasn't really considering Cyclozar, but I was like, it's the only Bubby I hadn't used, so I was like, I might get that one. Yeah, I didn't draft the Bubby this season. Rampardos and Appleton are still available, but I was like, I'm already using them on other teams, so let's just not have a Bubby this season, which sucks, but that's just how it is. I cannot wait for my first speak. But we need to go ahead and talk about the team. Because this team, despite me getting sniped a handful of times, was a pretty solid team. And I cannot wait to show you it. Let's go on ahead and let's get started. So I was number 12 overall on the board. And as the board was falling, there was 3 Pokemon and the 19-point slot that I really wanted. And the first one did not fall to me, and I only got picked up 5th overall. But my second one did. Enter Dragapult. Dragapult's an interesting mon, right? Because Dragapult's very versatile. It's got a base 142 speed. Don't see how that happened, but it's really frail. It's a mixed attacker. It's got, I think, 138 base attack and 120 base special attack. It can be either or depending on the battle, and that's really something that you want in a Pokemon like this. Of course, this Pokemon can even be support. It can do screens. I think it can do habit stacking. I don't know if it does. I probably won't use that. But it can be screen setting, Dragon Ant sweeping. This thing can do a lot. And one of my favorite draft league coaches, the Uzi Gunner, coach of the Thunderclap Titans, used this in SBL Season 2 and won that season. So I really hope that I can use Dragapult effectively. Maybe see what he did a little bit. I'm really hoping that I can like cook up something like in the kitchen a few times with this Dragapult. Because this thing is likely to come every week. I don't know if it will, because there's likely to be a few bad matchups for it, but it's not like Chi-Yu where it can't come every week because there's like a certain Pokemon or 2 or 3 that's on the other side that's like, scaring it. This Pokemon should be able to come every single week and add something to the team. And I cannot wait to use this thing. This thing is going to be awesome. Now my second Pokemon is a bit of a it's a cool Pokemon. It's one of those regen Pokemon. It got a little bit of a regen core going on, but it's also a snow setter. You might be wondering why I went for snow as my weather. Well, that's because I really liked Glastrier. I really want to get myself Glastrier. I was not able to, but I don't hate the way this team turned out. And this Pokemon can still be useful for my Snow Core later on with things like Chilly Reception and, of course, Regen helping us with when it switches out, you can get some of that health back. And of course, I wouldn't talk about any other Pokemon than Galarian Slowking. Galarian Slowking is also a grounded poison, meaning Talking Spikes can be removed from this thing. So it's a really solid option to have in terms of like, you know, maybe getting T-Spikes up. I don't know if this thing gets T-Spikes. It might. I don't know. I haven't checked. But if it does, that could be a solid option. Chilling Reception is cool. Trick Room for like my slower mons could be awesome. This thing is, this thing is here just to take hits and set up so my Pokemon can take names. Like this thing can do a lot. It can even do some stuff offensively as well. It might not be that much offensive, but it could be. I could run like Trick Room Life Orb on this set if I really, really wanted to. Yeah, we'll see though. We'll see. I can't wait to use this thing though. This thing is gonna be awesome. And yes, my next Pokemon. My next Pokemon is my first Terra Captain. I took a Terra Captain pretty early because this one is one of the better Terra Captains on the board, in my opinion. And I wanted a little bit of plot armor on my side, yes. And once I tell you this pick, you, just like everybody else, will know that. Yes. Uni's the bus. Kilowattrel is our next pick. With Terra Flying, Water, and Ground. This thing is awesome. Plot Armor Hurricane, maybe give me some script material, and of course, it's Kilowattrel. It's got a really good speed tier. Maybe I could run some crazy shenanigans with this. I do have a Pokemon that can get Rain Dance, so I might not even have to run Plot Armor Hurricane. I can just run a straight Hurricane and hit. Of course, if I do want to get greedy, I can always run Blunder Policy on it in case Hurricane does miss. I need a speed boost from Blunder Policy. Whereas it being an electric type means it can Volt Switch, and Volt Switch is also very good for momentum. I really like Uni. I really like Uni because this thing can pair well with Dragapult, especially with Dragapult's U-turn. We can get like Volt through momentum going, and I got Chilling Reception. There's a lot of momentum on my side with just my first 3 picks, and that's crazy. Weather Ball is great on Uni because of my snow and potential rain as well on one of my future mons as well. So this could actually be like a crazy sweeper if like my opponent's not ready for it. And I cannot wait to showcase that Uni can be the buzz. Now my next Pokemon is my first Snow Sweeper. And this thing is actually insane. I have fought this thing before in a previous battle of the ZDL, and I know you'll remember it well because this thing gave me a lot of issues. Not as much as the Meowscarada. The Meowscarada was much worse. This Pokemon will really, really benefit on this team, especially under snow. And of course, I would be talking about none other than freaking Kyurem. Kyurem is crazy though, and despite the fact that it's an ice type, Dragon Ice specifically, Baxcalibur was also on the board, but I'm like, Kyurem is just better because it can utilize its special attack as well as its physical, and it. It can do basically anything that Baxcalibur does, but better. Of course, I can, gain the defense boost with the snow. It can even D-Dance, because attack and special attack are the same, if not very similar. It's kind of like a Dragon Ball situation, where one attack is better than the other, but they're pretty close, so both can be utilized. and that's pretty versatile. It's not as fast as Dragapult, which means it does at least have some bulk, which I can utilize that to my advantage if I want to. I cannot wait for this Pokemon to like do some damage. This thing is actually gonna be like insane, and I cannot wait for it to like, you know, do some stuff because this thing is wild. This thing is wild. This thing is crazy, and I love it, and I can't wait to use it on my side. Now, my next Pokemon is also part of my Ice Snow core, but it's also my Steel type, and my unfortunately only Steel type because I got my other Steel options that I wanted got sniped as we went through the draft. But it's still not a bad Pokemon, and this Pokemon can do some things as well, especially under snow with things like Slush Rush boosting its speed, and of course having Swords Dance for like offensive momentum, and of course I want to talk about any other Pokemon. Then Alolan Sandslash. Alolan Sandslash is an interesting one. And of course, it's not really that great without Terra, but we already have Uni and then my next Pokemon, which will also be a Terra Captain. And this Pokemon is awesome, and I cannot wait to use this thing. Of course, it being my only Steel type, and of course it being part Ice type is definitely a liability. But you gotta remember that this is an Alolan Sandslash, so like, you know, it can still do a lot of things despite being somewhat a liability, even though it's not, even in the Steel type. And even though that might be the case, this thing can still cuck. And I cannot wait to use this thing. Especially if there's like a fairy on the other side that I think lands here can handle. I'm excited, and I know you are too. Now, my next Pokemon is my second and only other Terra Captain. It's also my bulky water and a potential Rain Dance setter for Plot Armor Uni to bust out Hurricanes if she wants. But it's also a third Dragon Dance mod as well. And it can also do some stuff outside of that. And that Pokemon is Lapras. Lapras is my second Terra Captain. Terra Water, Ground, and Electric. Electric for Bolt Beam. Ground is there to pair with Water Absorb. And of course Water, you have to pick between Water and Ice for your first one. So yeah, I got 2 Water Ground Terras on my team, which is not great. And it probably would have been Ground, Water, and Electric if I didn't pick Terra Flying for Uni. Which reminds me I have Terra Flying and Water on it in the first place is to pair with Volt Absorb. So I might change one of Uni's Terras. I don't know. I don't really know what the plan there was with Uni to make one of them Steel, but at the very least, I don't plan on making that transaction just yet. I want to see what lands can do first. Lapras here can be a very cool mon. Like I said, bulky water, so if I wanted to use it, defensively I can. And I cannot wait for this thing to do some damage. I've seen Hood Cow use this thing. It put it in. I know it was low tier, but it still put it in work. I definitely feel like this Pokemon would do some stuff, and I cannot wait to use this thing. This thing is going to be actually this thing is going to go insane. Like actually go insane. My next Pokemon is basically just I really needed a Dark type and a Fighting type, and this thing is basically just a Crocodile but better. My next Pokemon. And even though I didn't really get a Ground type until later, and this thing compounding my Fairy weakness, as I said before, I got lands, so As long as that fairy doesn't have like a fire or fighting move, we're good. But even still, despite that, this Mon can still put in some work. Of course, I wouldn't be talking about anyone else than Scrafty. Scrafty has both Intimidate and Moxie, and this thing is so cool. Because not only can it be like be like bulky with Intimidate or offensive with Moxie, it's also a Dragon Dance Mon. Dragon Dance. I got 4 Dragon Dance Mons. That's crazy. We're gonna be doing a lot of cha-chas each week. Something's gonna be cha-chaing each week, and it's gonna be great. But which Mon is it gonna be? Is it gonna be Dragapult? Or is it gonna be Kyurem? Is it gonna be Lapras? Or is it gonna be Scrafty? Who's gonna be doing the cha-cha each week? That's gonna be something for me to know and you to find out. Of course, Scrafty is obviously just a very good Mon. It always has been, and I really cannot wait to use this thing. This thing is going to be so cool. Now, next is my ground type. I got it pretty late because we're already 8 rounds into this. But I needed a ground. And there was one ground on the board that was not Iron Treads, which did get picked up in free agency, but that was still on the board that I thought I could really use on my team, and one as a second spinner in case I don't bring lands. Of course, talk about Donphan, obviously, and Donphan can get priority Ice Shard. He can even get Ice Spinner too, which is awesome. To get rid of any electric terrains or just terrains in general, because there's like a Rillaboom and an Indeedee team as well. Donphan could be really good for that. Of course, EQ is awesome, and like among other coverage moves that this thing gets, this thing can be offensive. It can be defensive. I've seen people work with both sets, and I cannot wait to use this thing. This thing is going to be absolutely insane. I love me some Donphan. Donphan's going to be amazing, and I cannot wait to use this thing. This thing's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. I know I got around to pretty late, but I got a pretty solid one despite being pretty late at this point. But now we get on the round 9. In round 9, I still didn't have a fairy. There were 2 fairies on the board at this point, and that I was looking at. Rabombi and a Namoti, an Amaristarian. A Amaristarian is a bulky fairy, and I was like, if I can get a bulky fairy, that would actually be cool. But if I got Rabombi, I get webs as of good speed tier. And I ultimately settled on Rabombi. There was one thing that Rabombi had that a Amaristarian doesn't that really set it apart. Quiver Dance. Offensive Rabombi looked so good outside of Sticky Webs that I just had to pick it up. I was like, come on, like, why would I not? Why would I not pick up Rabombi, right? Like, let's do it. Let's do it. And Rabombi is just so good. I've seen people put him with Rabombi with webs, offensive bomb, with like choice spec, with some like life orb, some crazy shenanigans like that. I've seen it. It's crazy. I was in shock, as you might imagine. Yeah, I cannot wait to use this thing. This thing's actually going to be insane. Um, I'm I'm gonna love using this thing. This thing is gonna be. People are gonna have a hard time figuring out which set it's gonna be. Now, for my second to last pick, I needed a grass. I needed a grass type, and grass is very good in this matchup. Um, grass is very good in this matchup. In this like in this league, I just was like, I needed grass. I didn't have a grass. I need to get me a grass. So I eventually decided to settle on one that I've seen put into work for a certain someone. So let's pick up Shaman, shall we? Shaman's cool. I like me some Shaman. Shaman, we respect Shaman here in this household because the coverage on this thing is awesome, is like monstrous. Shaman has like it gets Seed Flare, Fair Coverage with Dazzling Gleam, Earth Power, things like Air Slash. This thing gets coverage. This thing definitely gets some coverage. And I was like, oh yeah. This thing's gonna put in some work, and I cannot wait to use this thing. This thing's gonna be awesome. I don't know if Shaman is gonna be the MVP on this team, but I can definitely see it putting in some work. Shaman's gonna be awesome. And I cannot wait to use this thing. This thing is going to be amazing. This thing's going to be absolutely amazing. And of course, the final Mon. I didn't mean to do that. The final Mon. I didn't have a fire. I didn't have a fire, but I did have 4 points, and the 4-point fire options were not that bad. And I decided to roll with Pyroar. Pyroar is also part normal, so I got a ghost immunity, and a ghost immunity is something I didn't have. So that was obviously very cool. I also had this thing gets a lot of sound moves like hyper voice, so like throat spray could be cool. Maybe Spect or Scarf 1 week could be nice. This thing can put in some work. This thing can do some stuff. I wonder what I'll there might be some like weeks where I run some sets on this thing, but I can't wait to use this. Pyroar is gonna be awesome, and I cannot wait for it. To be a menace, to be a thorn in the side of my opponents. This thing's gonna put in some work. I can't wait. I cannot wait. And that's my draft for ODL Season 2. It's gonna be an interesting season. I don't play Zach Maynard this season. That's unfortunate. But I do get to play Jalen week 6. So that's gonna be something that I'm really looking forward to. And I cannot wait for that battle. And oh my goodness. Now my week 1 opponent is Where Dude, coach of the Blazing Blazikins. And he'll be available. He said he wants to battle me on the 6th of August, which is going to be next week. So next Saturday. So look forward to that battle. I cannot wait for that battle. I'm going to go ahead and start prepping right now. I'm going to go to the kitchen real quick and see what I can cook up with my team. I cannot wait for this battle. But with me being in 3 seasons, it's going to be hard for me to stream. But at the same time, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. I can't wait to see y'all. in the final 2 weeks of ZDL, in all 8 weeks of MDL, and ODL. This is gonna be crazy. This is gonna be insane. So I hope you're ready, because after this all ends, you, just like everybody else, will know that Uni's the boss. Bish.